Welcome, my name is Irina Balurko. I'm a partner here at Red Rocks e-commerce, where we help small businesses go from zero to their first million on Amazon Marketplace. And today's video is going to be for businesses that are looking to start on Amazon in your future, because I'm going to be walking you through a pre-launch checklist, things that you exactly need to know to have in place to make sure that you set yourself up for smooth launch and long-term success on Amazon. Right, let's start with our checklist. Your item number one is going to be your goal for Amazon. This is really about why and really what is an intention for you to be in Amazon. Most of the time it seems to be like a very clear answer. Well, duh, of course we want sales. Okay, good. If you have specific sales goals you want to start from the start, that's great. If you don't have it, which is more often than not, don't worry. Your first milestone is always going to be just to have that one sale. But you also need to be aware that there are other reasons for being on Amazon beyond sales, obviously, revenue. Amazon is really authority in e-commerce. I would argue the biggest authority in e-commerce space, which means that your presence on Amazon is also your reputation out there in e-commerce space. So when a customer search for products, often they go on Amazon. 55% of all internet product searches start on Amazon. So the purpose that Amazon can serve for your business is also having that additional authority and presence and building your reputation in e-commerce space. So that's another reason. And I'll mention the third one is also important for businesses, existing businesses that often started in retail, kind of had a more traditional growth path, is to establish brand control. We see that often with brands that say, hey, we have a bunch of third-party sellers already on Amazon. We need to come in, clean up the presence, and we need to be there directly. So that's probably the top three reasons why businesses go on Amazon, and three top business reasons that Amazon serves for small businesses. The second reason, so now you established your why. The second one is, we're going into a little bit more technical item, which is establishing your Seller Central account. There are two ways to sell on Amazon. One is aka wholesale, which is called vendor, or Amazon lingo using 1P, where the item you sell to Amazon at a wholesale price, they turn around and sell to customers. So it's really ships and sold by Amazon. While you are as a brand obviously there, but Amazon is really front facing to all the customers. The second option is what we usually recommend more often because it gives you more brand control, is what is called third party or seller via Seller Central, where the brand is selling directly to customers, which can be done either using Amazon fulfillment or their own fulfillment. So here I'm going to be talking about Seller Central because that's where you can actually go and start selling at any time. Why the first party or wholesale method, usually you have to be invited by Amazon, so that's also not where most of our expertise is. All right, so if you are a business owner that is watching this video and you're the main decision maker, you are pretty much behind all the decisions, right? Then I suggest that you you register a Seller Central account for your brand, because once you do that, you become a primary owner, and some things are harder to change down the road. And of course, you can give access to other people, that your team members or whoever you work with. But I suggest that the main decision maker, the owner of the business, if applicable, do the registration. If you are kind of a larger organization and you have employees that or team members that you assigned or in charge of setting, getting Amazon channel going, I suggest you set it with an email address that is not tied to individual employee. A lot of things in the back end of Amazon are tied to email addresses. It's a bit harder you can change it down the road, but I suggest to not have the primary owner who set up be, Joe at company XYZ, because when Joe leaves, then you kind of have to redo things. So have it a little bit more neutral. Sales or info, support, whatever, Amazon at company XYZ, and so on. Once you set that up, Amazon goes through a verification process. Now, I have to do a caveat that I'm speaking in mind to mostly US businesses. So this is specifically for Amazon US or Amazon Canada. That's where most of our expertise is. If you are kind of the most common scenario that we work with, if you are a US-based business looking to launch on Amazon US, this is really applicable verification process. Should be pretty straightforward. Once you give all the information, tax entity, and so on. Sometimes they want to do a quick video verification, or sometimes they send you a snail mail postcard. If you experience that, all of that is normal. It's not just you. That's just normal. The regular registration verification. If you are outside of the US business that is looking to start an Amazon US, you have to have a little bit additional hoops to jump through. Amazon does want US-based bank account. If you don't have it, then you just need to set up one of the third-party processors to kind of move the funds through. And there may be some additional steps in verification if you're a non-US entity. All right, so once that's done, the next one is kind of looking at your business itself. You need to have right Amazon offers. That is extremely important. We see that often where brands want to go on Amazon, they just kind of want to replicate their catalog, their product offerings to Amazon, which sometimes works and sometimes not. So when I say right product offers, you have to think, you probably shop on Amazon, you have to think from customer perspective, from fulfillment perspective, from price perspective. You can, if you're not, sure, you can also look at your category. What are the most common offers that when you search for your category products, what do they pop up on the first page? Usually, if you are selling as a brand directly via Seller Central, I recommend to have entry price product at least $10, simply because you're not going to, the numbers just simply will not work below that. Also here with product offers, if you're new to Amazon, I suggest to start with a handful because it can be overwhelming. Pick your best sellers. Or pick, if you already have others selling your products in Amazon, okay, you can pick what perhaps has the most reviews, so you can kind of a jump start on that, but don't necessarily aim to get the full catalog if you have a lot of SKUs. Start with sure winners, and also make sure that those are right Amazon product offers. The next one is fulfillment decision. There are two ways to fulfill on Amazon. One is self-fulfillment. So customer buys, you ship it from your warehouse, your 3PL, whatnot. Or you can use Amazon Fulfillment or FBA. More often than not, for high growth velocity, for success, Amazon FBA definitely preferable, assuming your products work for that. You can, now what's good about it, if you're not really sure, then it's a decision that can be changed down the road, meaning that you're not locked in. If you can start with your own fulfillment and then you can add Amazon FBA. It does not have to be either or. You can have what we call hybrid. So you can have both. So you can use Amazon fulfillment, and you also can do your own fulfillment for the same product on the back end. Or not in the back end, but as a backup, right? So fulfillment decision, because once your product is up, you got to decide who is going to be shipping it, right? The next category of decisions and kind of getting things in place are product details. So this is really you can say the basics, right? Where, okay, your product needs to have ideally JS1 issued UPC code, GTIN, whatsoever not. There needs to be unique product ID. There are some exceptions. You have custom product, you can apply for those, but 90% of the time you need to have GS1 approved product ID. You obviously need to know your products. I mean, this shouldn't be hard, right? Just kind of the basics, features of the product. So you kind of have all the things to fill in once you're setting up your products on Amazon. Excuse me. All right. And the next one also in the product category is your visual and digital assets and branding assets. Sometimes it's a deal breaker or deal maker when it comes for you to be successful on Amazon. I cannot stress the importance of having really, really strong digital assets. And by that, I mean your images, first and foremost. High resolution images, product images. You can easily go, find Amazon image requirements. Your lifestyle images, okay? Video, if you have that, shorter video, the shorter the better, but it's not required. Then your branding, kind of a really, you know your business, you know who you are, you know who's your target customers. So, really being able to present your products to customers with compelling benefits, right? It's a good old copywriting, right? So, not just talk about product features, but also have some competitive edge that you can display on product pages. Okay, so that's about knowing who you are, what your products represent, what benefits they give, and how good they look, right? So we covered assets. All right. The next one is economics model, Amazon economics model. As another one, deal maker or deal breaker. Amazon is hard space to operate on profitably, and rarely profitably from the get-go. So we have a lot of conversations with our clients that are new to Amazon, because we want to make sure that there is full understanding of Amazon economics model, and also kind of a clear path to profitability, right? And by Amazon economics, I mean understanding of fee structure. So in my mind, a kind of a split it. So we have fixed and we have variable, right? So the fixed are things that you can't control. No matter what, they're going to be the same. So that will be your referral fee. So that is really, look at it as Amazon commission. Depending on the category, that is 8 to 15%, or 10 to 15% of the time. Grocery, sometimes it goes down to 8, but it's really, majority is going to be 10 to 15%. All retail customer price. So that is your fixed fee. Then you have, smaller things. You have subscription fee for professional plan. That's $40 a month. Then you have monthly storage. Well, this is a VA fee. So if you use Amazon fulfillment, let me back up here. So here we have our set fees, fixed fees. Then variable fees are there's more of them, right? So if you use Amazon fulfillment, so you have transactional fees, and here by variable, I mean that they do differ by product. So if you use Amazon fulfillment, the operational expense of fulfilling a product and shipping to customer is passed on from you to Amazon. So on top of the 10-15%, Amazon charges FBA fee, which is really a combination of product weight and dimensions. The bigger your product, the higher that fee is going to be. So it's variable in a sense, it could vary for your products. It's fixed in a sense, once you have it, it's transactional fee, right? No matter whether you sell 50, 10, 20, 100 units, it's always going to be the same. So scale here is not really going to make a difference. Then if you also use Amazon Fulfillment, you have monthly storage fee. So that is a set fee, fixed fee per cubic foot. But again, it's variable in a sense of how much inventory is stored at Amazon. So those are really kind of a very heavy in transactional space. Then you have your really more discretionary marketing. It's not really discretionary because marketing is required on Amazon, but it's variable in the sense there is a room in terms of Amazon doesn't require you to start with X dollar amount or maintain certain ad budget minimum. It's really about how much you want to sell, at what rate, what's your competitive space looks like. When it comes to, there is a PPC and advertising marketing is a completely new subject that requires a lot of videos to talk through, but just so you know that marketing, and that by that I mean actual advertising, pay-per-click, and coupons, any type of BOGOs, any promotions are variable in the sense that it's discretionary, right? So that's kind of the understanding the economics models. I think the big thing is really understanding the beginning is transactional fees. So you need to know if you sell for this, after referral fee and FBA fee, what does that look like? Because those things you cannot change, right? So you need to kind of, again, talk about path profitability, have a picture, how that falls into with everything else. All right, we talked about Amazon economics model. Talk about assets. Now, the next one is probably should talk about in the beginning is a trademark clarity. So if your business has a trademark, you probably know that whether it's your trademark is pending, filed, approved, but surprisingly I come across quite a number of scenarios where we're talking about trademark and all of a sudden, oh, it's actually expired, it's not, so there is just kind of sometimes confusion. And why it's important is because having a trademark gives you different capabilities, it gives you additional features that you can utilize on Amazon in order to grow. It also gives you it gives you brand control, it gives you content, right? So it locks in your content on Amazon product pages and such, and some brand protection. So you need to, do you have to have trademark to sell on Amazon? No, you don't. You can sell without trademark. Does having approved trademark help? Absolutely. So I'll tell you, there's a lot more things that you can deploy. Like once we know there's a trademark, there's a complete, it's not completely, it still opens up a suite of things that we can use, tools that we can use on Amazon for our clients. Okay. So trademark clarity. If you do have trademark, then you need to register that on Amazon in a place called Amazon Brand Registry. Okay, so consider that as part of your Seller Central registration. Do that in the beginning, get that done. It's a one-time thing, so get your brand registry. If you don't have it, once your trademark is approved, then go and do it, okay? And the last and not least area of things that of what you need to know to be to launch successful on Amazon is your dedicated resource. Amazon is its own ecosystem. It's a highly specialized field. So you as a decision maker, you kind of have to make a decision. Okay, who is going to be doing that? Because it's 99% of the time, once you start it, it's actually a lot more than you thought, and because roadblocks happen and so forth. So if you're right now juggling all the things yourself, you can definitely do that. Just know that it's going to take you more time and more effort, and you're probably going to get stuck at some point. So I suggest to, what are the common paths, right? So of finding your dedicated resource. Okay, so you can have, so you can do it yourself, right? And you can always educate yourself. There's a lot of information on the internet. So you say, hey, I don't want to pay somebody. I'm going to figure this out, do it myself in the beginning. Okay. I wouldn't say it's the best way. I am biased. A lot of times we have to clean up all the wrong things that were done just simply for the lack of expertise, but it's an option, right? It's a kind of a strong, scrappy entrepreneur type of option. Now, the second one is if you have a small team, internal team, then you can have somebody, I don't know, does your social media, marketing, fulfillment. I mean, we see all variety type of resourcing, kind of, like you have to have your hands on many things when you're a small company. You can say, hey, start Amazon, go figure it out. We can talk about it. Let's make decision. But basically, somebody who is resourceful and smart and kind of a go figure things out, you can have them going on that. That's, again, still, is it best long term? No, but I mean, that's kind of another scrappy option. So the next one is, okay, go for outside expertise from the get-go. Here kind of what we can see, there's a spectrum of things. You can work with a freelancer. There's places like Upwork. Find somebody who is, who has expertise in Amazon. Amazon generalist in the beginning is fine. Just have them set you up and get you going. I mean, I know there is kind of you always have a risk there that you, how good they are, but they're probably going to do it faster and better than if you did it with having zero Amazon expertise, right? So that's kind of also can be very cost-effective option. Or if you're if you're looking at Amazon, okay, we want to start strong and correctly, and we're serious about it. It's one of our main business initiatives. Then you can work with, with somebody like us, agency that has a team of experts that gives you comprehensive, holistic start, and also can oversee, be your partner and Amazon channel, right? So from the very beginning. So that's that would be that's the option that I think is the best, because that's your first strongest start from the get-go and things done correctly. But it's also it's an option that requires investment up front, right? But so that is your dedicated resource spectrum of options, right? Okay, that is series of decisions, areas that you have to consider when you go on Amazon. I know it sounds overwhelming, but I found that when you kind of break it down, okay, because it's really a series of decisions you have to make and things to kind of figure out. So when you break it down, then you kind of at least have a roadmap. Okay, so I like to talk about it that way. So it's your pre-launch checklist. So let me talk through the what's, right? Of setting yourself successfully on Amazon from having the right things in place. So your Seller Central, your goal on Amazon, what purpose does Amazon serve for your business? Your Seller Central registration, your Trademark Clarity, right? The kind of the logistics pieces, your right product selection that works for Amazon, Amazon economics model, how do fees work, general understanding of that structure, fulfillment decision, do you fulfill yourself or do you use Amazon? Do you do both? Your digital branding assets. Do I have things in place to put on product pages so customers buy? And your dedicated resource. Who is going to be responsible for Amazon, at least in the beginning? Okay, so those are the what's of how to launch successfully in Amazon. And in the next videos, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the hows and the general life on Amazon. All right, thanks, and we'll talk soon.